Welcome back to NOLA Motorsports Park as we are kicking off the first race of the year for the Formula Regional Americas Championship. Good afternoon. My name's John Fippin. Seated alongside of me, the Jensen Motorsports driver making his debut here this weekend, Parker Wallin. Parker, welcome to NOLA, and you've got to be pretty pleased with the job you did this morning.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how I did. Could have gone a little bit better for me, but I think for my first race weekend ever, it's the best I could do.
Yeah, indeed. There's a good look at our pole sitter, the 27 of Patrick Woods-Toth. He is the reigning F4 champion, taking advantage of the scholarship to move up to the Formula Regional. We just saw the 55 of Nico Ambiado. There's Ryan Shehan, another returning driver, the vice champion of the FR Series a year ago for Crosslink Kiwi. Alongside him, his teammate, the 31 of Titus, Sherlock. Titus also had a good run last season, finishing second. He's the vice champion of F4, excuse me. And then we have the number 11 car of Kleck. Cole changing teams over to the DD Autosport team. He finished 10th in the championship. He had a podium a year ago. As you can hear these engines coming to life as we're just about ready to send them out. There they go as the brand new Janetta safety car heads out onto the track. We'll introduce the starting grid for you. Let's go back to front. Starting alone in row number 8 is car 14, Alex Benovitz out of Naples, Florida for Crosslink Kiwi. On the outside of row number 7 is the 07 of Anthony Autiello out of Cranston, Rhode Island. He drives for Momentum Motorsports. Great to have Phil Picard and Momentum back in our paddock. Next to him, the 17 of Justin Garrett out of Miami, Florida for the Speed Factory. In row number 6, car 77 is James Lawley out of Halifax up in Canada. He's in the Kart Bond Racing team for the Atlantic Racing team. Next to him in row 6 is the 24 of Kevin Jansen, the veteran in the field. Kevin jokes that he's older than the parents of most of our drivers. He's from Deerfield Beach, Florida, and he drives for Crosslink Kiwi. Up in row number 5 on the outside, a driver who raced with us on a part-time basis back in 2018 is back in the field. Great to have Ricco Shlaimoun from Oak Park, California for Crosslink Kiwi. Next to him, the only female in the field, car number 6, Nicole Havrda out of Courtenay, Canada. She's with Crosslink Kiwi as well. She'll be in the commentary booth with me later on. In row number 4 on the outside, another returning driver, the 73 of Landan Matriano Lim from Shreveport, Louisiana. He could call this his home race for Crosslink Kiwi. Jett Bowling starts next to him in the 02 from Dallas, Texas for Crosslink Kiwi. My co-commentator for the first race will start in the 6th position outside of row 3, the 22 of Hayden Bowlsbey from just up the road in Folsom, Louisiana for IGY6 Motorsports. Next to him, the number 11 of Cole Kleck out of San Antonio, Texas for the new DD Autosport team. We saw in the pre-race the car of Titus Sherlock, the number 31 out of Prosper, Texas. He drives for Crosslink Kiwi. As I mentioned, Titus, the vice champion of the F4 championship a year ago. Next to him is the vice champion of the FR Series a year ago, Ryan Shehan. He was in the hunt for the championship right up to the last race weekend from Horseshoe Bay, Texas. That's near Austin. He also drives for Crosslink Kiwi. Starting in the front row on the outside, car number 55, Nico Ambiado from Davenport, Florida. Nico drives for the new Velox USA team, and your pole sitter and the reigning F4 US champion, Patrick Woods-Toth from St-Lazare, Quebec, up in Canada. The number 27 drives for Crosslink Kiwi, and he took the pole position by just about half a second with a lap of 133.648. Of course, both of our classes here run with a Formula One style standing start. Start boxes are laid out here on the front straightaway here at NOLA. And these drivers will come to a stop in their aligned grid positions. And then we have a 5 light gantry, just like they use in Formula One. Those 5 lights, once the field is set, will be illuminated at 1-second intervals. And then after a random amount of time expires, those 5 lights go out, and that's the signal to get away. Parker, welcome to the commentary booth.
Thank you.
I complimented you on your race. You got tapped into a spin and involved in an incident that brought out a safety car. But on the recovery, you went from 12th to 7th by the end of the race. Great recovery drive.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty tough, but for my first race ever, I am very happy with it. Going off the start, everyone gets lined up. You got to stay that 6 feet away, so just in case you don't get that penalty
of
jump start, which I saw some drivers did.
Yep. Yeah, there was one driver that was penalized from this morning's race for getting an unfair advantage, basically, but it was deemed that there was no competitive advantage made, so he was only penalized 5 grid positions as opposed to more than that. But he'll recover from that, no worries at all.
That's true, yes. And you'll see the drivers coming up to grid now, and everyone's going to be pushing hard with the little bit colder tires with only an outlap, but everyone has those fresh softs on. So you'll see a lot of action into turn 1. Turn 2, 3, 4, going on. I'm guessing the first 5 laps. There's going to be a lot to watch.
Oh yeah. It was the same with your race this morning. These cars, of course, with just a tad more horsepower under the driver's right foot, so they've got to be really cautious about wheel spin coming off the line. With the F4 car, you could pretty much mat the throttle and dump the clutch. These guys have to be a little more judicious, or they'll get a lot of wheel spin. And there they go. We are away. And it looks like Woods-Toth is going to get a good start. And slotting in right behind him is Nico Ambiado, but look at Ryan Shehan in the 66. He's juking back and forth, trying to make a move, and steaming up the inside is Cole Kleck. And he's going to try to take over third. Shehan being just a little more cautious, and I think that's a good thing to do here in the early running. But it is our pole sitter, Patrick Woods-Toth, out in front with Nico Ambiado running in second, heading down toward turn number 3, sort of back-to-back horseshoes or keyhole sort of turns. But it's nice because if you get on the outside of one turn, that puts you on the inside of this one, which is turn number 4. And that leads the drivers down toward turn 5. This next section is really a bit tricky.
They got to be careful here. If someone dives on the inside, they might get tapped, go wide, and that might end their race.
Turn 6 has really been the Achilles heel for a lot of these drivers, and that's where they are right now. It's easy to get a little wide and off into that gravel trap, and that is something you don't want to do. There are stewards around the track monitoring track limits, and they'll keep a close eye to make sure these drivers keep it on the black part and not get off all 4 wheels off onto those curbings, the red and white curbing. You can certainly put 2 wheels up there, but you can't get all 4 off or there'll be a penalty assessed. Looks like our first, second, and third place battle is a good one as they're working their way through turn 14 now for the first time. And it is the 11 at the front. Cole Kleck has been able to take over the lead. That puts Patrick Woods-Toth back into second spot. And then right behind him, Ryan Shehan. Kleck is diving over to the inside, trying to break the draft just a little bit, but it's still early days. We've got 28 minutes yet to go. Nico Ambiado looking to try to retake that second spot. Then behind him, the 31 car of Titus Sherlock. There's the 6 of Nicole Havrda, and the 02 is off the pace. Into the pits already, Jett Bowling. Oh, he's got a punctured tire.
That's a puncture.
Yeah, I don't know whether he got tapped by somebody or maybe ran off course. But that, and we got another one. The 73 has got a problem with the left front tire. So
that's a full course caution.
Yeah, Landan Matriano limb with a problem on the front of that car. So I'm guessing those two probably tapped left front to right rear, I'm guessing. We didn't see that incident, but that flattened both those tires. And let's see, they have not dispatched the safety car just yet. So if there isn't any rubber debris on the course, they might let them run.
And we are back racing now.
So that's good to see. And out in front with a pretty comfortable lead is Cole Kleck in that number 11. He's built up a big margin here. So Cole getting away in the DT Autosport number 11.
It's very important in the early stages of the race to build as the biggest gap you can. During the end of the stages of the race, when your tires start to fall off, very important to build that gap.
We've got a car in the gravel. I can't tell for sure. I didn't see the number on the car. 77, thank you so much. That's James Lawley in the Atlantic Racing Team number 77. He is stuck in the gravel trap, and that could indeed bring out a yellow flag, and it has done so. The safety car pulls out of the pit lane and picks up the field. So our first safety car period of this young race comes after the 77 car of James Lawley, stuck in the gravel trap.
For the whole grid, safety car always a good little pre-race. Mid-race.
Go ahead.
Safety car always a good mid-race thing to settle down. Cars can cool down. Cars can, regain their spots. Always easy to pull away once on the safety car restart, as we've seen in other races.
Let's take a moment here. We'll thank some of the sponsors that make the racing possible here for us on MAV TV. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with you with the restart.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch.
Any tips?
At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
The Sonoma Speed Tour returns to Sonoma Raceway April 19th through the 21st, featuring the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli Western Championship, the Sportscar Vintage Racing Association, Historic Trans Am, the Toyo Tire 2.5 Challenge, PSSA, International GT, and Saturday you can take part in the Hagerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show. You do not want to miss the Sonoma Speed Tour April 19th through the 21st. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net.
And welcome back to NOLA Motorsports Park as we have a car stuck in the gravel trap. The number 77 of James Lawley from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Put the Atlantic Racing Team number 77 in the gravel. You can see the corner workers, safety workers on the scene, and they'll get that car winched out. He'll probably be able to continue under his own power, but sadly he will go a lap down with that. These gravel traps do their job. If you get off, they're there to deaccelerate the car so you don't run into anything that doesn't give.
That's right. That's right.
Let's do a quick rundown of the order because there's been some shuffling from how we qualified. Cole Kleck is your leader. Patrick Woods-Toth, the pole sitter, running in second. Nico Ambiado, who started second, back to third. Titus Sherlock in fourth. Ryan Shehan shuffled back to fifth. Then we've got Hayden Bowlsbey in sixth. Nicole Havrda in the number 6 car is seventh. Ricco Shlaimoun having a good run. He's picked up several spots. He started 10th, currently running 8th. Alex Benovitz started at the back, and he's already up to 9th, so watch for that number 14. Kevin Jansen, one of 2 drivers vying for the Masters Cup here. Kevin, that's for drivers over the age of 35, by the way. Kevin is currently in 10th in the final points peg position. Justin Garrett in the 17 is 11th. Anthony Autilio in the number 07 making his debut. He's the other Masters driver, running 12th. Landan Matriano Lim with the flat tire is not on the lead lap unless he's been able to catch up. Yeah, here he comes. So we may be able to get Landan at the tail end of the lead lap before we get the restart. Same with Jett Bowling. They both had flat tires. And James Lawley is the car who brought out this full course yellow with his trip into the gravel trap. Getting a good look at our leader, Cole Kleck, who started all the way back in 5th position, and he has just really barged his way forward. Barged is really too strong a word. He's certainly done it cleanly, but that's a great start for Cole Kleck, the Texan. As Landan Matriano Lim does come by, he is on the lead lap, and he's going to hustle to catch up. So he should be at the back of the queue by the time we get the restart. We have so far not seen Jett Bowling come back out on track, so he may have retired. Depends on how much damage, if any, was done to the rear suspension of that car, but the tire was completely gone, so it wasn't just a carcass. It was completely out of the way. I can see the safety car beginning to accelerate away from the field, so I think we're pretty close to a restart. The safety workers getting their cars back into position. Yeah, that's the 77 car after being extracted from the gravel trap, making his way back to try to catch up. If we get the restart this time by, still haven't heard from race control if we're going to go restart this time by. And if that's the case, or they may go around one more time to make sure the safety teams has enough time to get back into their position. It looks like they have. Lights are still on the safety car. Usually they would be out by now, so I think we're probably going to go around one more time, and that's going to be good news for Jett Bowling. That'll let him catch up. And hopefully he'll still be able to stay on the lead lap. There he comes, flashing by the line. And he's still being scored a lap down, so it looks like he had lost a lap. Didn't get out of the pit lane quite fast enough. So we'll go around one more time behind the safety car. Parker, most of your racing up to now has been karting. I know you karted in your native Minnesota, but also in California and Texas. How have you found the transition from a go-kart to this kind of car?
That's true. Yeah, I did race out in Texas and California, but this kind of racing is so much better. So much better. The cars are a lot faster. The community is amazing.
Yeah.
I've had so many people willing to help and support me through moving up from karting.
Yeah.
But also, there comes a factor, it's a lot more competitive.
Yeah, yeah.
People can capitalize on your mistakes so much more in this league compared to karting. And with karting, it's all about, who can send it in the corner the best, who can drive the fastest. Now it's all about strategy and how consistent you can be, which I think is amazing. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and the other thing, everybody's in equal equipment. In go-karting, of course, there are folks who can throw a lot of money at it and get the unfair advantage, for want of a better term. But here, everybody's in the same equipment, and it's really up to the driver and the team to maximize what that equipment has to offer.
That's true. That's true. And we'll see the whole field here. And just a reminder, everyone's on exact equal terms.
Yep, equal terms. It's the equal cars. There is no ability of anybody to modify the car. You can't throw money at it and get trick parts to make the car go faster. The engines are all sealed. It's all done to make it really a showcase for the driver and the team, and that's what we love to see in these entry-level series. It really gives you a chance to hone your racecraft. Close quarters racing throughout much of the field we've seen so far this series, and this is the start of for the FR Championship. We started in 2018, so this is the start of our 7th year. The beautiful new Janetta safety car, James Rogerson at the helm. He's been our safety car driver for many years. James, a pretty good racer in his own right down in Texas. Does a lot of vintage racing as well as SCCA racing. He's been at the runoffs many times. In fact, his son, and his grandson all competed in B-Spec at the runoffs 2 years ago. So that was a nice thing that you don't often see. We are going back to green. The safety car has pulled into the pit lane. Cole Kleck brings the field around. He's permitted to accelerate any time past just about here. And we're just waiting for him to drop the hammer. He does. The green flag is already in the hand of the starter. Kleck is going to weave a little bit to see if he can break the draft. Patrick Woods-Toth and Nico Ambiado stay right in his wheel tracks, getting the advantage. Woods-Toth looks like he's got a run. He tries to pop to the inside, thinks better of it. Titus Sherlock right behind him, then Ryan Shehan. Cole Kleck on colder tires. After a couple laps behind the safety car, you got to build the heat back up. Do you find, Parker, that they reheat pretty quickly, or do you really need half a lap or so to get them back up to temperature?
It takes half a lap, even more than half a lap. It's crazy how much the tires can cool down even by slowing down.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, we have another spinner. The 73 is going around. Landan Matriano. Landan's having a terrible day. He got tagged and had a flat tire, and now he has spun it, and it looks like he is stuck. I believe that's him right there at the exit of turn 2, just at the entrance to turn 3. In fact, I think there may be 2 cars involved. I think that's Landan up there just at the turn-in point for turn number 3.
That is 2 cars out, I believe. We will deploy the safety car here.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the case. So far, that decision has not been made. We'll wait to see if our race director feels that's necessary. I think he's going to give those drivers a chance to go under their own power, but sadly, that's not the case, as the safety car has been dispatched for the 2nd time in this race. It's interesting. Usually for our first race of the season, the F4 drivers, being younger and maybe not as experienced, usually have a little more trouble getting up to speed, getting accustomed to it. These drivers, in theory at least, are more experienced and have done a lot of racing, and so you sort of expect that they are a little better at minding their P's and Q's. But I think the enthusiasm of the moment has caught some of these guys out.
That's true. That's true. With the first race of the season, everyone's very antsy to, of course, win and go fast.
Yeah.
That might change things on how aggressive people are into the turns.
Yep.
and everything.
It is a timed race. We don't count laps. We only count time. And we are 13 minutes into this one with about 16 minutes remaining. We have a 40-minute window to get 30 minutes of racing in, basically. So if we don't have another yellow, I think we'll probably get the full 30 minutes in, but it's possible to have that foreshortened if we can't get the race done in 30 minutes. So everybody's going to slow down one more time. We know it's Landan. We saw his car. And the other car involved, I can't tell you right at the moment. There's Landan's car, the 73, out of the Crosslink Kiwi stable. I'm sure Landan was hoping to do well here because he's a local driver from Shreveport, just graduated from LSU. And Landan was the winner of the Omologato Perfectly Timed Pass award at the awards banquet at the end of last season. He made up the most positions from his qualifying position to his race finishing position over the course of the season. Made up 64 spots over the course of the year. And that award was given to him, and he had no idea that it was coming. We make those announcements at the awards banquet, and he was gobsmacked, to say the best. But nonetheless, so Landan not having the start to his Formula Regional career that he had hoped for, but he's a resilient kid. He'll bounce back, no question about it. I shouldn't say kid. He's 22 years old. He's a senior citizen compared to a lot of these drivers. Jett Bowling, by the way, did get back on the lead lap, so this is a blessing for him because he was well behind at the restart, so this will give him a chance to pack up. So we've got all 15 cars on the lead lap now. We're going to go around at least one more time. In fact, the race director, Scott Goodyear, has declared a red flag. Basically what that means is the safety car will come into the pit lane, the field will follow them, and the clock stops under a red flag. That's the reason for doing it, basically, so that we don't eat up all the time behind the safety car. And especially if the recovery is going to take a little extra time. The other car involved is the 24 of Kevin Jansen. Kevin has raced with us for several years. In fact, this is his 4th year of competition. He finished 14th in the championship a year ago. He had 10 top 10s. Although he currently lives in Deerfield Beach, Florida. He was born in Canada and was a member of the Labatt Blue amateur hockey team. They were U.S. national champs from 2019 through 2022. He's also a tennis and backcountry skiing enthusiast. Interestingly, Anthony Autilio, who's the other driver vying for the Masters Cup this year, also is an avid athlete. He's a competitive cyclist as well as a skier. He's raced in SCCA competition and Formula B, Formula 1000, which is a light, very nimble single-seater race car. These cars a bit heavier because of the FIA requirement that they meet a minimum safety requirement. So there are those that have come to this series or the F4 series from other forms of open-wheel racing and think, wow, these cars are really heavy. Well, the reason is they have to be safe, and the FIA is very stringent about the crush structures, I can say it, front and rear, as well as the side impact structures, and all that adds mass to the car. So they're not as light as they could be, but nonetheless, they're fun. I was talking to Hayden Bowlsbey. He started with us in the F4 car, and he said when you jump into this FR car, it's like the hyperspace shot you see in the Star Wars movies. It is just so much faster. Everything comes at you so much faster because these cars have twice the horsepower, a whole lot more downforce, a little wider tire. It's just it's an F4 car on steroids. So have a good season, and you'll be in one of these cars next year.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's really a goal moving up the ranks, Formula 4 to Formula 3, or in this case, Formula Regionals.
Yep.
And then
which is a Formula 3 car. It's called Formula Regional just because that's how the FIA structures it. But
that's true. And then Formula 2. And
yep.
then, you know, every driver dreams of driving in Formula 1.
The top step of the ladder. That's where everybody hopes to get to. It's not easy to do, but, you know, with Andretti trying to get a slot in the Formula One World Championship, he's got some politics to work his way through. I'm a big follower of Formula One, and I think Michael Andretti deserves a slot in that championship, and he's made it clear that he wants to get American drivers involved. In fact, they've already opened their new facility in England at Silverstone, and he's made an announcement just this week that he's going to field an F3 and an F2 team because he wants that ladder series. He wants to be able to bring drivers over from the U.S. and get them into the running for a seat. We haven't had an American in Formula One for quite some time, and it would be great to see, especially since we now have 3 Formula One races in this country now. Let's do that. Let's do that again, shall we?
That's true. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely right. During these red flag periods, the crews are not permitted to work on the car. They can provide what is called in the specification driver comfort. They can put an umbrella over the driver, offer him water, him or her, just to be comfortable. But there is no work permitted on the cars. They can't even take tire pressures under these red flag situations. So they have to stand aside, basically keep their driver cool, and wait for the recovery work to conclude.
I'll say in these this heat, it is very important to have the umbrella and have the water. Otherwise, you'll overheat. With all the fire protectant you have on, you'll see drivers opening their masks. They want air on their face. They want the cool air. They want to cool down so they can focus up on the driving and not stress out about overheating.
Yeah, exactly right. Kevin Jansen coming in behind one of the safety vehicles, and the other car, unfortunately, on a tilt bed, not able to be towed in, but it looks like the incident is clear. We'll see if there's any track cleanup going on. I don't see anybody down in that section of the racetrack. Scott Goodyear right here in front of us, inspecting the recovery work to be sure the track is in good shape before he makes the decision to send him out for the restart. This will be a single file restart. The safety car will bring the field around. The clock will start. The safety car will bring the field around for a single file restart, and hopefully we'll get the rest of this about half of this race still to go. We had 2 early safety car periods in the F4 race, and this one is the same thing. So, okay, guys, everybody calm down. Let's get to the end here. This is a shot of Anthony Otelio in the 07 car. Let's hear the team members talking to their drivers, see if there's anything they need. As far as a sip of water, do you have a drinks bottle in the car?
I just, when they hand me water, I'll take it. Of course.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a button on the steering wheel that you can push and get yourself a drink.
I wish. Not in these Formula 4 cars.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't quite have that the level of sophistication, because that adds weight and complexity to the car, and they try to keep that from being a problem. Again, these are designed as a ladder series. They're designed for youngsters, in this case as young as 16 years of age, the minimum age for the FR series. It's 15 for the FIA F4 series, the F4 US Championship, and then it's 14 for the series that you're competing in the JSF4 Championship, which is making its debut here this weekend. We're all looking forward to our next race meeting up at Road America, one of the heroic racetracks in this country, and we'll kick off the season for the F4 US Championship with the new JSF4 chassis. We unveiled that car at that race up at Road America a year ago, the first time anybody had seen it outside of the Ligier factory, and it's fitting that we start the race series a year after that unveiling, and that's the plan as it stands right now. These drivers will be going to 7 different venues. We're going to Mid-Ohio, which is my home track. We're going to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. First time for these cars at Indianapolis, on the road course, of course, not on the oval. The FR cars raced at Indianapolis several years ago. We're also going up to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, the track formerly known as Mosport. And the F4 cars, once again, have raced there previously, but the FR cars have not. So a couple brand new venues for this class of cars, and we're looking forward to adding them to our regular stable. New Jersey Motorsports Park, of course, and of course we round out the season at Circuit of the Americas. Hoping to get back to the to the opportunity to race alongside Formula One. We have done that on 3 occasions where we were one of the support races for the Formula One race at Austin, and that is just unbelievable. I must tell you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And so we're looking forward to getting back to that opportunity. That's a negotiation between the folks that run this series as well as the folks at Formula One to make that kind of thing happen. But we're keeping our fingers crossed that we can get back to that with at least one of these classes, perhaps both. So just to recap, Cole Kleck is your leader. Patrick Woods-Toth, the reigning F4 champion, in second. Nico Ambiado in third. Titus Sherlock in fourth. Ryan Shehan, the vice champion of this championship a year ago, is fifth. Hayden Bowlsbey hanging right in there in sixth. Nicole Havrda in seventh. Alex Benovitz in eighth. Justin Garrett in ninth. Ricco Shlaimoun in 10th in the final points-paying position. Anthony Ottilio is in the 11th spot. Kevin Jansen will be at the back. Landan Matriano Lim will be at the back. James Lawley and Jett Bowling round out the field. So we're showing, as of this moment, we've got 4 cars a lap down, and it looks like 2 of those may not be able to continue. The safety vehicles seem to be heading back to their staging area, which would indicate that the cleanup has just about concluded. As the flatbed is coming counter race, and I don't know if he's got yet another damaged car aboard.
Looks like he does.
It looks like, yeah, there's another car involved in that St-Lazare. And they're going to pull off so that we can get back underway. That's Matriano Lim's car, so he will not be able to rejoin. We saw Landan pounding on the steering wheel after he got together with another car and knocked himself out. So,
yeah, he was not happy, which I 100% understand.
Yeah, especially when it's not your fault.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can attest to that, as that's what happened to you. You got tapped in the rear and spun.
With the amount of time and effort these drivers put into the races, all feelings are on the table.
Yeah, exactly right. And especially the first race of the weekend, you don't quite know what to expect, and everybody's kind of feeling each other out.
That's true.
It's a learning experience. You got 2 more races this weekend, and in this case, we got 18 races throughout the course of the year. So there's plenty of time to recover. If you have a first weekend that doesn't go the way you want, it's not a problem. You've still got a chance. And the Ginetta safety car rolls away with the field in tow, and we are 1 lap away from a restart here. The clock now begins to run. Like I say, we're just past half distance with about 14 minutes remaining. I'm guessing it'll be about 10 minutes when we get back to the green flag. Takes about 4 minutes or so to get around the track behind the safety car.
And you'll see cars weaving across the track, trying to warm their tires as best as they can. Get them up to the optimum temps before going green. They also
pick up a little debris when you're running around behind the safety car, so everybody wants to get the tires cleaned off and warmed up. And it looks like the 02 of Jett Bowling will be the last car running. And he is shown a lap down, as is Benovitz, Lawley, and Bowling. When they come by the line after the restart, they may get on the tail end of the lead lap, but we'll sort that. But there's your leader, Cole Kleck, in the number 11. With the new DD Autosport team. He had a podium a year ago, finished 3rd at Circuit of the Americas at the final race. He raced with us for 2 seasons in F4 as well. He finished 16th in 2022 and 28th in the championship last year in a partial season. In fact, he started the championship last year in the F4 series and then changed teams and moved up to the FR series for the second half of the season in preparation for a full season in FR this year. And he's put it to good use after qualifying inside of row 3. He finds himself at the top with an aggressive first stint. So we'll see if he can make it happen. But that driver behind him, the 27 of Patrick Woods-Toth, a very measured driver. I mean, he won the championship last year, and he only won 4 races. But he was on the podium 10 others. So 14 races out of the 18, he was either first, second, or third. And that kind of consistency wins championships. And, Patrick is not the kind of driver that throws caution to the wind and, win at any cost. He knows, hey, if I've got a second place card today, that's what we'll take, And that's exactly the kind of maturity that we look for. Patrick is a bit older. He's 20 than some of the drivers. But like I say, he came into this championship a year ago, into the F4 championship, as the winner of the Radford Racing School Scholarship. He was the protege of Ron Fellows up in Canada. He's a native of Quebec and had great success. He was a Canadian national champion karter and came into the series last year for the first time, not really expecting to do anything. He thought, yeah, I'll race go-karts for another year. But he won the Radford Scholarship and took the opportunity to race in our class. And lo and behold, he is now a champion. So he's going to try to make it a back-to-back deal here this season. But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do anything strange here. He'll do his best as we are back underway. Good battle for fourth place. His car's going too wide as the 31 of Titus Sherlock trying to hold off Ryan Shehan. They are teammates. And then right behind them, we can see the 6 car of Nicole Havrda as she's working her way. Justin Garrett, Ricco Shlaimoun also in the battle as they work their way into turn number 3. See Titus Sherlock doing battle. Just behind him is Ryan Shehan in the 66, and then the 22 car of Hayden Bowlsbey. Hayden was in the commentary booth with me for the F4 car. Now they're coming down into turn number 5, and then through that very tricky turn 6 and 7 into the Bennett Bridge Hall S's. Starting at turn 8 as Titus getting a little bit wide, dropping a wheel off, kicking up a little dust. Again, that turn 6 is a tricky one, and that's exactly where he went a little bit wide. Have you found turn 6 to be troublesome? I know Scott Goodyear, the race director, has, harped on all the drivers about staying out of the gravel trap at turn 6.
Yeah, he has, and turn 6 is a very hard one. For me, I think the hardest on the track.
Yeah.
The throttle control with the different cars you have to take, and it really depends on the track.
Sure.
How good the track is in that corner.
Yep.
Which can change with weather and the amount of grip on the track.
Yeah, and if everybody drops a wheel off, it brings debris up on the track, and you got no grip at all. So.
That's true, which I found a lot during my last race.
All right, here we go with a little under 10 minutes remaining. No change at the front. Cole Kleck sets the fast lap of the race, a 1:35.470. The pole position was a 1:33.6. So considering that this was the first lap after the restart, that's a pretty stout pace. Patrick Woods-Toth just about 3/4 of a second slower on that last lap. There's a good look at Titus Sherlock in the 31 machine, currently running 4th for Crosslink Kiwi. And then the 22 of Hayden Bowlsbey. Hayden, the local driver from Folsom, Louisiana, told me that they're going to get a second FR car. That's going to be a 4-car team here before the season gets too much older, and that's great news. For that, I can remember when Hayden first started out. I mean, he's raced with us since 2019. When they first started out, it was just he and his dad. And, they've gradually grown that team. And Clark Bowlsbey, his father, is the team principal. And so they're very involved in veterans affairs, and Save 22 is their charitable organization that they spend a lot of time with. So tip of the hat to Hayden and all the hard work he's done. And he was looking forward to a good race here. He said tire conservation, there's a new compound on the the Hankook tires this year, and it's a little more soft, wears a little bit more. And so, his plan all through practice and qualifying, obviously they start with new tires in qualifying. His plan was to conserve the tire so he's got something to run with when they get into race mode. And it looks like he is going to do just that. He is right on the rear wing of Ryan Shehan. So we'll see if Bowlsby's strategy is going to pay benefits here in this final 8 minutes or so. Kleck resets the fast lap of the race, a 35.2 now. But Patrick Woods-Toth has just about matched that, a 35.3 for the reigning F4 champion. As we keep an eye on the Louisiana native, Hayden Bowlsbey. As Cole Kleck is trying to check out, he's about a second in front of the rest of the field. And then Nico Ambiado is another 1.5 seconds back. Titus Sherlock another 2 seconds behind him. And then this 3-car battle between Sherlock, Ryan Shehan, and Hayden Bowlsbey is the closest battle on the racetrack. As less than a second between Sherlock and Shehan, and about 0.4 of a second back to Hayden. You can see Hayden taking a little wider line through the S's, see if he could find a way around Ryan Shehan. The car stepping out on him just a little bit. Down into turn 13. That's another good passing opportunity at the tail end of the Bennett Bridge Hall S's.
Right off the S is a big braking zone, easy to dive up the inside, or if anything, go on the outside for those slow sets of corners before the back straight.
Yeah, because 14 is a left-hander, obviously. So if you can stick around the outside at 13, you've got the inside line going into 14.
That's true.
So that's the kind of strategy that every driver tries to play, and learning racecraft is what it's all about. I mean, it's one thing to go fast when you're on the track by yourself, but it's quite different to go fast when you've got other competitors all around you.
That's why drivers have to study their notes and practice, because you can take the right line around the track, and that'll give you a good time. But
yeah.
Battling with other drivers, that's where the true skill comes in.
Exactly right. Have you spent any time studying data and that sort of thing? I mean, that's a new skill that you have to learn when you get into this class of racing.
That's true. Yeah, we take the data from the cars and we go over it, and I take notes on that. And it's very important to learn from your mistakes first, and see how you can improve.
Yeah.
Find the problem.
And compare yourself to your teammates, for instance.
That's true.
See how that goes. So. Kind of settled in here as we keep an eye on this three-car battle. The leaders have begun to get away just a little bit more, as now in front of Titus Sherlock is almost 5 seconds to the leader, Cole Kleck, with over a second lead. As we dip back just a little deeper, this is the 17 of Justin Garrett, and diving to the inside in recovery mode is the 02 of Jett Bowling, as Bowling is trying to work his way back forward. He is right behind Garrett now, so that will move him up a spot into 10th. Again, points are only scored for your finishing position. There are no bonus points for leading the most laps or fast lap of the race. It's strictly finishing position. So Jett Bowling is trying to get himself into the top 10.
See the number 2 here trying to use the draft, go around the outside here. Great spot for overtaking, as he just does not get it done. Oh, he
yeah, he did.
Oh, he does.
He does the over-under, if you will. And it looks like the 17 of Garrett maybe left the braking a little bit too late, and that allowed Jett to get down to the inside of him. So he moves up another spot. Back to the front we go as Cole Kleck, as you can see, all by himself with about 4 minutes to go. This is his race to lose for sure, as he's maintained a pretty consistent 1 second, just a little more. Then Nico Ambiado dropping back behind the second place runner, Patrick Woods-Toth. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Patrick, and then Titus Sherlock another 3 seconds behind him. But Nico Ambiado, who we're riding with right now in the 55 car. Nico out of Santiago, Chile, for the new Velox USA team. He raced with us in a partial season a year ago, finishing 37th in the championship. He has multiple karting titles in his native South America. As we turn our attention back to the front, good battle at the front. Nico Ambiado in third is kind of in the rocking chair, we call it. He's got room in front and behind. He just needs to hit his marks and get this car to the finish, as we're down to about 3 minutes remaining. It doesn't look like he's got the pace to run down those guys in front of him, although his best lap is only about half a second off of Patrick Woods-Toth. As we look at the fast laps of the race, Cole Kleck has the fastest, Woods-Toth second, Ambiado third, pretty much the way they're running on the track. So Nico's doing a good job. He is on the box as it runs right now. He started in second, gave up a spot to Cole Kleck, as we mentioned. Cole got around both himself and our pole sitter. Speaking of which, there is Patrick Woods-Toth in the number 27 car. It's interesting, in years past, we've had some drivers who have had no trouble making the transition from the F4 car to the FR car, but we had one champion, Josh Carr is his name, and he was all conquering in the F4 car, but just never got to grips with the FR car. He just wasn't as successful in the FR car, and it requires a very different driving style. Because of the turbocharged motor, there's some lag to contend with, and it's got a lot more downforce, so it requires a little different hand, as the white flag is in the hand of the starter, and we are headed for our final lap here as the leader is coming onto the front straightaway and under the starter's stand. Let's see if Patrick Woods-Toth has kept anything in reserve as they head down into turn number 1 for the final time. The Cube 3 turn 1. Cole Kleck keeping it up. You can see the bumps as the suspension working overtime coming through turn 1 and 2. Down into the left-hander at turn number 3, and then back to turn 4, an equal radius right-hander. And then into the fun part, turn number 5. As that car handling the bumps pretty well. Patrick Woods-Toth right there behind him. So Cole Kleck heading for that tricky turn 6. Drops a couple wheels off to the outside, but he's okay. Into turn 7. And now into the Bennett Bridge Hall S's on the final lap.
Cole's trying his best here to keep the gap at the maximum, but also save his tires the most for the next race.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
He decides not to put a new set on.
Cole working his way through the last of the S's, coming down into turn 13 for the final time. Keeps it nice and clean. Oh, he's got 2 more turns to go, and he's going to notch his first win of the season. Like I say, his best finish was a podium at Circuit of the Americas, and he's gone to the top step. The checkered flag is in the hand of the starter, and Cole Kleck weaving back and forth to celebrate the victory as he'll take the win in round number 1 of the 2024 Formula Regional Americas Championship. Patrick Woods-Toth comes home in a well-deserved second spot, starting from the pole. Nico Ambiado takes third, and we got a side-by-side finish for 4th and 5th. It looks like Titus Sherlock was just able to hold off his teammate Ryan Shehan as they came across the line. Just behind them, Hayden Bowlsbey in a well-judged 6th place finish. There's the 6 of Nicole Havrda, the British Columbian for Crosslink Kiwi, as she'll take home a points finish in 7th. Ricco Shlaimoun in the number 25 across the line, just in front. Actually, it was Justin Garrett just in front of Shlaimoun. He made that pass on the last lap. Then Shlaimoun, Anthony Autilio rounding out the points-paying positions. So well done to Cole Kleck to take the win in the first round. I'm going to say my goodbyes and head down to the podium to interview the top 3 finishers. Parker, thanks so much for being with us. Great job in the commentary booth.
Good
luck in race number 2 this afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll look to see you on the podium, let's hope.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Great. Have a good one, my friend. Thanks for your expert commentary.
Yeah.
So I'm going to step aside. For those of you watching on the stream, I'm going to step aside to get down to the podium. And we will be back with you a little later this afternoon for the final race of the weekend. That'll be race number 2 for the Ligier JSF4 Series. And that's coming up at 5:05 this afternoon. My compatriot, DJ Clark, picking up the microphone, and he'll take you to the end of the broadcast, and I'll head down to the podium. DJ, thanks so much.
My absolute pleasure. It's going to be a great time to be able to finish everything out here at this point. We just saw a little bit of an affected race, but a good one nonetheless. Cole Kleck able to take that victory up at the top for DD Autosports International Mechanical. Patrick Woods-Toth and Nicolas Ambiado able to take 2nd and 3rd. Good runs up and down through the field for everybody to be able to do it as we take a look at this gorgeous NOLA Motorsports Park from top to bottom here. A very tricky race, particularly in these open-wheel machines. There is a little bit of downforce that's generated in them, and so it comes across a little bit back and forth as they run. And so having to deal with all of that here at this point. But, folks, stick with us here on SpeedTour as we will be back with one more SVRA race for the day. But until then, we're going to take a quick little break.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.